now look into space, to the moon, and to the planets beyond. Our leadership in science and industry, our hopes for peace and security, our obligations to ourselves as well as others, all require us to make this effort, to solve these mysteries, to solve them for the good of all men. There is no strife, no prejudice, no national conflict in outer space as yet. Its hazards are hostile to us all. Its conquest deserves the best of all mankind. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept.
Buzz Aldrin flew to the moon with Neil Armstrong and Michael Collins for the Apollo 11 mission in 1969. He brought back rock samples and helped safely fly the rocket to the moon and back, as well as completing John F. Kennedy's goal by getting a man to the moon. Edwin Eugene Aldrin Jr., or better known as Buzz Aldrin, was born January 20th, 1930. Buzz Aldrin came to be known as Buzz because his little sister pronounced brother as Buzzer, therefore nicknaming him Buzz. He later officially changed his name to Buzz in 1988. Ever wonder who Buzz Lightyear was named after? Well, probably not, but just in case you did, he was named after Buzz Aldrin. Buzz joined the Air Force and became an F-86 Sabre pilot in the 51st Fighter Wing. He fought in the Korean War, where he shot down 61 enemy pilots and recorded another 57. He was worth 16 awards. Buzz was one of 3 people to be selected for the Apollo 11 mission alongside Michael Collins and Neil Armstrong. They started training in simulations, but eventually moving on to a real-life lunar lander, in which Neil Armstrong almost lost his life when the lunar lander exploded in midair. Luckily, Neil survived with a quick parachute action in which he realized the lunar lander was about to explode and just barely escaped. The crew of Apollo 11 blasted off to space on July 16, 1969, and got to the moon on July 20, 1969. They spent a total time of 21 hours on the moon collecting moon rocks and other items found on the moon. On the way there, the crew thought they had seen an alien flying beside them, but there's been a lot of speculation, and many scientists believe that it was just a piece of the ship that came off during the first stage. The first stage is the first propulsion to get the ship out of Earth's atmosphere, and the piece was just stuck in the ship's gravity. The crew didn't report the supposed alien encounter because they didn't want Houston to turn them around and cancel the mission. Then finally, the crew made it onto the moon, although only Buzz and Neil actually stepped foot on the moon. Michael Collins stayed on board the ship so that Buzz and Neil could make it back on the rocket safely. The crew left the moon July 21st, 1969, and arrived back on Earth July 24th, 1969. As the crew was brought back to shore, they were welcomed back with a giant group of people waiting for them. After that, Richard Nixon called them and claimed that the phone call was the most historic phone call to ever come out of the White House.
Go ahead, Mr. President. This is Houston out.
Hello, Neil and Buzz. I'm talking to you by telephone from the Oval Room at the White House. And this certainly has to be the most historic telephone call ever made from the White House. I just can't tell you how proud we all are of what you have done. For every American, this has to be the proudest day of our lives. And for people all over the world, I am sure that they too join with Americans in recognizing what an immense feat this is. Because of what you have done, the heavens have become a part of man's world. And as you talk to us from the Sea of Tranquility, it inspires us to redouble our efforts to bring peace and tranquility to Earth. For one priceless moment in the whole history of man, all the people on this earth are truly one in their pride in what you have done.
All around America, there are parades, and the crew was going around signings. All of America was super excited about the accomplishment, although other parts of the world, such as Russia, weren't as excited about it. Buzz Aldrin. His leadership was safely flying the rocket to the moon and back, leading America to the new revolution of science by collecting lunar rocks and other lunar items, with the help of Neil Armstrong and Michael Collins. His legacy, inspiring others to be an astronaut just like him, as well as helping rocket engineers to learn more about the ship and to fix its flaws. And you know what? Since I still have time, I might as well tell you about my experience meeting him in person, having him sign my book, Mission to Mars, which was written by Buzz. And that was my experience with Buzz. I hope you enjoyed the documentary, so here are the credits.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
I'm an alligator. I'm a mama, papa coming for you. I'm a space invader. I'll be a rock and rollin' bitch for you. Keep your mouth shut. Just walk like